Meditations is the personal journal of the Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius, written around 170 AD. The book is a collection of philosophical reflections and moral principles based on the teachings of Stoicism. Marcus Aurelius was the last of the so-called five good emperors of the Roman Empire. He ruled during the period from 161 to 180 AD, and his philosophical writings were made during military campaigns against Germanic tribes. Surprisingly, this personal journal was not intended for publication. The emperor kept it for himself as a means of self-discipline. The book is especially useful for those seeking ways to maintain composure in difficult situations, want to learn to manage their emotions more effectively, and strive for continuous self-improvement. Rule 1. The first chapter is dedicated to gratitude and appreciation for all those who influenced the formation of the emperor's character. Here, Marcus Aurelius expresses gratitude to his teachers, relatives, and mentors for the life lessons received. Gratitude as a form of self-knowledge is a key element of this chapter. The author describes in detail what he learned from each of his mentors, from patience and gentleness to strictness and justice. This helps one understand which qualities are important to develop in oneself. When you achieve certain successes in life, try to make a list of people who helped you along the way and specify exactly what they taught you. This approach will help you better realize your own strengths. The chapter teaches us to value the experience of other people and use it for our development. Gratitude becomes a powerful tool for personal growth. Rule 2. The second chapter focuses on the importance of inner discipline and the correct attitude toward external circumstances. Here, the author emphasizes that our reactions to events are much more important than the events themselves. Control over one's own mind is considered the foundation of Stoic philosophy. Marcus Aurelius asserts that we should not allow external factors to influence our internal state. It is important to remember that only our mind determines how we perceive the world around us. If you are irritated by the weather or traffic jams, instead of getting angry, realize that these things are outside your control and choose a calm attitude toward them. This chapter teaches us to focus on what we can control, our thoughts and actions, and not on external circumstances. Rule 3. The third chapter reveals the concept of the universal interconnectedness of all living beings. The author emphasizes that every person is part of a larger whole and must act for the good of society. The idea of service to the common good runs through the entire chapter. Marcus Aurelius is convinced that the true goal of a person is a harmonious existence in the community and helping others. Personal interests must be subordinate to common goals. At work or in the family, put common goals above personal ambitions. For example, if your colleague needs help, even if it might slightly delay your progress, support them. This will benefit the entire team. The chapter teaches us to be aware of our responsibility to society and to act for the common good. Rule 4. The fourth chapter is devoted to the importance of continuous self-improvement and overcoming life's difficulties. The author emphasizes that every trial is an opportunity for growth. Accepting life's challenges as a means for development is the central idea. The Stoics believe that it is precisely through overcoming difficulties that a person becomes stronger and wiser. It is important to view problems as lessons, not as obstacles. When you encounter a professional difficulty, for example, a new project that seems too complex, perceive it as an opportunity to learn something new and develop your skills. This chapter teaches us to see opportunities for growth and development in difficulties. Rule 5. The fifth chapter discusses the nature of time and the importance of using it effectively. The author emphasizes that time is the most valuable resource we have. Conscious use of time becomes the main theme of the chapter. Marcus Aurelius warns against the empty spending of hours on useless things and urges focusing on truly important matters. Every moment should be used wisely. Plan your day so that every activity has meaning. For example, instead of watching random videos on the internet, allocate time for learning something new or self-development. The chapter teaches us to be mindful of time and use every moment with maximum benefit. Rule 6. The sixth chapter focuses on the nature of the human soul and the need to preserve its purity. The author speaks of the importance of following one's principles and avoiding bad influences. Preserving spiritual purity is considered the foundation of a dignified life. Marcus Aurelius asserts that true wealth is a clear conscience and a righteous life. One must not allow external temptations to pollute our soul. In situations where you are offered to act dishonestly for gain, always choose the path of honesty, even if it requires additional effort. Your spiritual purity is more important than temporary gain. This chapter teaches us to remain faithful to our principles and to care for spiritual health as much as physical health. Rule 7. The 7th chapter is devoted to the importance of inner harmony and composure. The author emphasizes that true happiness comes from within and does not depend on external factors. Inner peace, as the foundation of a happy life, is the central idea of the chapter. Marcus Aurelius asserts that only the one who has learned to control their thoughts and emotions can be truly happy. External events should be perceived calmly, without excessive emotional reaction. When you receive negative news or criticism, try to consciously analyze it, without allowing emotions to take over. Ask yourself, is this really so important to your life? The chapter teaches us to find the source of joy and satisfaction within ourselves, rather than seeking it in the outside world. Rule 8. The 8th chapter discusses the concept of the changeability of all existence and the necessity of accepting this changeability. The author says that everything in the world is in constant motion. Acceptance of changes as a natural process becomes the key theme. Marcus Aurelius reminds us that nothing is eternal under the sun, and it is important to accept changes with dignity. Only the one who is ready to change along with the world can maintain inner freedom. If you encounter professional changes or a move, instead of resisting, try to perceive it as a new stage of life and an opportunity for development. This chapter teaches us to accept changes as an inevitable part of life and use them for our growth. Rule 9. The 9th chapter focuses on the importance of truthfulness and honesty in all aspects of life. The author emphasizes that sincerity is the foundation of human relationships. Honesty as the basis of trust is the main idea. Marcus Aurelius believes that every person should be honest with themselves and those around them. Even small misunderstandings can lead to big problems if not addressed immediately. If you made a mistake at work, it is better to immediately admit it and offer a solution than to try to hide it. This will help preserve your reputation and the trust of colleagues. The chapter teaches us to value honesty and develop this virtue in ourselves. Rule 10. The 10th chapter is dedicated to the analysis of human nature and the understanding of other people's motives. The author explores the reasons for human behavior. Understanding the motives of other people helps to build more effective relationships. Marcus Aurelius suggests not judging people for their actions, but trying to understand the reasons for their behavior. This allows for avoiding unnecessary conflicts and finding compromises. When a colleague behaves inappropriately, instead of getting angry, try to find out why they acted that way. Perhaps they had objective reasons. This chapter teaches us to be more tolerant and understanding in communicating with other people. Rule 11. The 11th chapter discusses the importance of focusing on the present moment. The author emphasizes that the past cannot be brought back, and the future has not yet arrived. Life in the here and now becomes the main theme of the chapter. Marcus Aurelius advises not to waste time on useless worries about the past or fear of the future. It is important to live every moment to the fullest. During a walk or sports, fully concentrate on the current moment. Feel your breathing and movements, without being distracted by thoughts about work or everyday problems. The chapter teaches us to value every moment of our life and live it fully. Rule 12. The 12th chapter concludes the reflections on the basic principles of philosophical teaching. The author summarizes his thoughts and gives final instructions. The synthesis of all previously considered ideas becomes the culmination of the work. Marcus Aurelius repeats the basic principles: control over one's thoughts, acceptance of change, honesty, focus on the present, and service to the common good. Daily, dedicate a few minutes to self-reflection, checking yourself for compliance with these principles. Ask yourself, was I honest today? Did I manage to remain calm in difficult situations? The concluding chapter summarizes the entire teaching. reminding us of the importance of following basic moral principles in everyday life. This is such a wonderful book. I have compiled a separate list of all the important theses from this book, along with all the techniques and tools, and created a step-by-step action plan that you can immediately implement in your life. You can get all this in my community, Place of Power. There, you will find a detailed text analysis with similar lists for each book being reviewed. The community has already thoroughly analyzed and made available to you hundreds of world bestsellers with a new analysis released every day. Follow the link in the description and use it